Happy Tuesday morning. It is now July 22nd, 2025. You're in tune with the Valley's Morning News on News Talk 710 KURV, along with show producer Zach Cantu. I'm Sergio Sanchez. We got AccuWeather meteorologist Jeffrey Nording on standby. We'll speak with him in about 3 minutes. The bad weather from late March, some people lost property as a result, and there is FEMA assistance, but it expires. The application for that expires within hours. Valley residents have only a few hours left to apply for federal disaster assistance through FEMA. Today is the final day that residents in the Four-County area can apply for help to repair damage caused by the late March floods. And we have a scheduled conversation with FEMA coming up in about 10 minutes related to that. Meantime, up in Austin, the Texas Senate is moving quickly on President Trump's call for Texas to redraw congressional maps.
On day one of the special session, Texas Senate Republicans moved quickly on passing Senate Resolution 5. It's authored by State Senator Phil King.
The resolution before us today is to empower the Lieutenant Governor to create a redistricting committee and then to establish procedures and rules for that committee.
King will chair the committee. He was peppered by comments and questions by Senate Democrats. State Senator Roland Gutierrez.
I think it's a tremendous waste of resources. I think that there are people that have died all throughout this state in a horrible flood, and that's the only thing that we should be focusing on.
King says the first hearing of the Senate Redistricting Committee will be this Friday. The House and Senate have gavelled out until Thursday morning. In Austin, Chris Fox, News Talk 710 KURV.
With the special legislative session now in progress, there's been some talk of a possible walkout by some Democrats that, of course, would break quorum and bring everything to a halt.
Unlike 2021, when House Democrats walked out, there are now new updated internal rules to crack down. If a lawmaker is a no-show without permission while trying to block a vote, they face a fine of $500 for every day they're gone. That money cannot be paid out of campaign accounts and cannot be paid by donors. Additionally, those that break quorum would have to pay all of the costs incurred by the House Sergeant at Arms. He is the person tasked with tracking down and bringing absent members back. Representatives could also face a reprimand, a censure, or even expulsion.
It's 7:08 on the Valley's Morning News. And speaking of redistricting efforts, so the Texas House, they plan to host several redistricting hearings in some big cities. Special session of the legislature is concentrating on that. So there are several sessions in Houston, Arlington, among the cities that will be seeing some of these committee conversations. At 7:08 on the Valley's Morning News. Public school districts around Texas have or are in the process of developing policies to comply with a new state law that will be banning the use of cell phones on campus.
College Station ISD School Board member Darren Payne said the new state law caught the attention of his high school-aged daughter.
In the 17 years of my daughter's existence, this is the first school legislation she has paid attention to. Yes, we have some concerns. Yes, parents want their kids to be reachable during the day if there's an emergency, but we all made it. Like, we survived.
The College Station ISD board considering a policy that allows students to keep their phones, smartwatches, and other devices turned off and in their backpacks.
That's Bill Oliver reporting. It's 7:09 on News Talk 710 KURV. And since we pretty much know what's in the weather forecast, a scorcher of a forecast, check this out. Jeffrey Nording from AccuWeather joining us. Check this out. Earth, did you feel it spinning a little faster yesterday? Just a wee bit faster yesterday?
Sure. Yeah, let's just say I did.
An estimated 1.34 milliseconds quicker in a 24-hour period. You know what fascinates me? There are some math geniuses and nerds, probably in a basement somewhere at some major universities and scientific departments that are actually measuring, calculating this all the time. The fastest spin for Earth since 1973, they say, could be the moon's gravity, atmospheric changes, the liquid core of the planet. They measured 1.34 milliseconds faster spin yesterday compared to the previous day. Just fascinating stuff. Okay, it's AccuWeather time. AccuWeather meteorologist Jeffrey Nording joining us. And I want to say thank you to Dougie and all the gang over at Martin Farm and Ranch. You will find Purina liquid feed. So we got temperatures. How hot today, Jeffy? Today and tomorrow, what you got?
96 to 104 with a high of 101 in McAllen. 101 and 102 tomorrow and Thursday with the sunshine, and the range is pretty much steady at 97 to 104. Friday and Saturday, more or less the same, mid to upper 90s. And we're going to have a little bit more in terms of cloud cover, so at least that may help, but only so much.
Yeah, there's no rain here. There's no rain across Texas. Ain't nothing, right? It's been bone dry.
There really isn't anything. No, it's been still trending dry. If I take a quick peek through, there is going to be some spotty showers and maybe a rumble of thunder in Houston starting on Friday, and that's from a brewing tropical rainstorm.
Let's see here. You know, one thing I find very annoying with the social media platforms, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or X or whatever it is out there, TikTok, the way they publish things, you know, they publish something, let's say radar, for example. Lots of rain in central Texas, right? Or in the Big Bend area. Just a big blob of rain coming in. That was like from 5 days ago, but it barely makes it to the feed. The way things, you know, or the way it's generated.
Yes.
So I'm going, what is that? Jeffy said no rain in Texas. And that's right.
That's from 5 days ago.
It's for the
No, seriously, I can even pull up my notifications right now live with you and click on it and go, oh, this post was actually from 4 days ago, but it said the notification was 12 minutes ago.
I just stopped watching social media for weather stuff because anyway, just right now it's dry. It will be dry, right, for several days across Texas.
Several days. South Texas not expected to see any of the rain from that tropical something.
The tropical coverage 2025 long range from the Caribbean and out the Atlantic. Nothing for the Gulf, right?
Nothing in the Gulf directly, but there are going to be, I guess, rain and potentially wind impacts starting July 23rd, so tomorrow, through the 25th from West Florida all the way to Southeast Texas.
All right, pal. Looking at the calendar for today, you're accurate with the forecast 104. Hit you over the head again with that one. Today, tomorrow, the next day, it's going to be just nasty hot. It's something cool and refreshing. Stick them. That's what I do. I stick them in the fridge. Mangoes, ripe mangoes. They're much easier to tell if they're sweet because they have that fragrance and they're kind of a little soft to the touch.
Yep.
Yeah. Versus watermelon. I still haven't figured out how to consistently pick a sweet watermelon. I have all these years, and I'm the one that goes to H-E Butt for the most part to get food. And mangoes are easy. The watermelons are.
Watermelon, actually, there's plenty of guides out there for that. So, you just got to find it.
Believe me, every time I make it back to H-E Butt, I'm online. Okay, what does it say? Perfectly round. Let's see how far the stripes are from each other.
Yes, that.
Yeah. Last one I got was water. It was water. It didn't taste like it was sweet, nothing. And I got it according to the guide. Anyway, today is National Mango Day, so enjoy some delicious mango.
Yes.
All right, pal. Call you next hour. That's AccuWeather meteorologist Jeffrey Nordine on 710 KURV. 7 o'clock hour. If you want to join us online, don't do it when you're driving. I know some of y'all tuning in on the radio. That's the thing. But you can join us online at your office, at your house. 710 KURV Facebook and X Live, 710 KURV YouTube Live as well. Well, we now know when Southwest Airlines will start their new assigned seating and when you can buy those new assigned seats.
The Dallas-based carrier has announced tickets reflecting assigned seating go on sale next week. The new assigned seating policy won't begin until January 27th, but the tickets go on sale next Tuesday. Planes have been going through a retrofit, adding more leg space for those who want to pay for it. The new seating policy, on top of bags no longer flying free, is expected to bring in $1.7 billion extra dollars next year. The A, B, and C boarding groups will be replaced by 8 groups based on your assigned seat.
The Department of Health and Human Services is planning to reform the nation's organ donation system. The decision comes after an investigation. More than 100 cases investigated had some red flags, with about 30 who might not have been dead when the procurement of organs began. Time is 7:15 on the Valley's Morning News. And Starbucks will be able to get, if you're a fan of Starbucks, you'll be able to get your hands on those pumpkin spice lattes in about a month.
The coffee chain announced that the drink will be available this year starting August the 26th. That's the latest the popular fall drink has gone on sale since 2022. Other fall drinks hitting the Starbucks menu next month include the pumpkin cream cold brew, iced pumpkin cream chai, and pecan crunch oat milk latte. Meanwhile, fall flavors of Starbucks ready-to-drink products are set to hit the store shelves as early as this week. I'm Mark Mayfield.
And, of course, very hot summer. I'm sure some of y'all may have purchased those above-ground pools. Got your kids in there. There's a major recall you need to know about. Millions of above-ground pools are being recalled.
The Consumer Product Safety Commission announced the recall of 5 million pools on Monday, and it comes after they were linked to the drowning deaths of 9 children across 6 states between 2007 and 2022. A CPSC alert indicated that an external strap could provide a way for children to enter the water even if the ladder has been removed and it poses a drowning risk. I'm Brian Shook.
You're in tune with the Valley's Morning News, News Talk 710 KURV. Conversation with a representative from FEMA on the final few hours that you have to apply for some assistance related to any damage, any floods from late March. Remember those big floods? Yeah, that's a memory from long ago, but the damage is real. If you have not applied for FEMA assistance, today's the final day. That conversation next on the Valley's Morning News. You're in tune with the Valley's Morning News on News Talk 710 KURV, home to Astros baseball. So we got the Astros tonight, 8:10 pregame from Denver. They're playing they're in Arizona. They're playing the Diamondbacks. 8:10 broadcast tonight on 710 KURV, made possible by Dr. T's Primary Care for Men and Women and the Mission Economic Development Office. Alberto Pillot with FEMA joining us. And he has hours left on his contract to help you somehow. So if you were affected, negatively affected, you suffered damage from the floods and from those nasty storms back in late March, today is the final day. Alberto, welcome back to the program. Now, last conversation you and I had, Alberto, you were telling me that you had several locations that were taking applications. Are all of those still open? Because I seem to recall a headline that said that they were going to close bit by bit. So what's going on in the field?
Yes. So good morning, and thank you again, Mr. Sergio, for the opportunity and for those listeners. Yes, we are, like as you said, we're down to the final hours of the registration deadline. Just because the registration deadline is over today does not mean that FEMA is leaving, because we'll still be here. We have 4 recovery centers still available, 2 in Hidalgo County and 2 in Cameron County. In Hidalgo, we're at the in FAR, and then Dicker Road at the Economic Development Center in FAR, and then we're at Westlake over at the City Hall over by Kansas Street. In Westlake, also in San Benito, we're at the Rec Center, and San Benito, and in Harlingen at the Harlingen Civic Center, Convention Center. We're still there. So those 4 centers will still be there. After today, once the deadline concludes, still the operation hours are going to be Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. and on Saturdays 8 to 5, and they'll be closed on Sundays. So registration done, like you said, yeah, correct.
Okay.
If you do it online, it'll be over at midnight, and it's over. And for those that still have not had that opportunity to the first-time registration, but again, FEMA is not leaving the valley yet. As of today, we'll still be here. It's just that the registration deadline is today.
Okay. And you can use any of those centers. Can you also do it online? Let's say somebody's work is, oh man,
That's
I forgot
correct.
about
You could,
that. And they go online.
Yeah, right. You can call 1-800-621-3362, disasterassistance.gov, or you can still download the app to your mobile phone. Those are the three ways, or visit the center that we're still taking applications at.
Normally, how long does it take? Let's say you go one-on-one. You go to one of these FEMA centers. The sit down. How much time do you need to allocate? Well, what papers do you need to take with you? How does it work?
Well, it takes about 15, 20 minutes if you have all the proper documents. The most important ones are going to be probably your Social Security, ID, the phone numbers where they can locate you, the address of the damaged dwelling, family structure, a bank route account so they can deposit any funds if you're eligible. It's very basic information. Again, information if you have homeowners insurance. Again, once an inspector visits your home, he will also ask you for an ID and some other documents are there. But the registration usually takes about 15, 20 minutes just to fill out all the proper information. And now, again, if you do it online, be very careful how you answer those questions. If you have any doubt, like I said, I always recommend to always come to the center, and the person that will take that information with you will be more thorough and explain to you why these questions are specific.
If you suffered any damage from the storms, the flooding late March, just a few months back, and you still have not applied through FEMA for some assistance, this is the final altar call. Today's the deadline to apply for that four-county area. Today is the final date. Now, there might be some folks who thought about it, maybe ask you about it, but they have insurance. They had property insurance and got most of that covered. Do they still qualify to try to get a portion of this to meet whatever insurance didn't cover, or how does that work?
Oh, yes, of course. We encourage homeowners with insurance to also apply. Remember, a lot of families or these homes are underinsured, and a lot of these homes probably didn't have flood insurance. There's two types of floods, like I always say. There's the running water flood that goes from inside out, which is the running water. That homeowners do cover that type of flood if your pipe breaks or your water flows from somewhere. But running water that comes from the outside in, your homeowner's policy does not cover that, but that's a separate policy. And a lot of families probably or homeowners figured that they had that policy, but in reality they did not. So they put a claim in and they were eligible, but now FEMA can look at those damages that can be eligible for and see what their granddaughters can be eligible. So we encourage homeowners, regardless if you have insurance, to still apply. It doesn't cost anything. It's just to have it there in the back burner just in case you're underinsured. Also, we have the SBA Business Administration, also in these centers for those that would be interested in disaster loans for homeowners and renters. I always recommend to always apply for everything that you can be eligible for. You never know. You can vote when you need it at the most time. They don't cost to apply. It's just a regular application. If you're eligible, you're fine, and you have those ready to go. But don't disqualify yourself. Any homeowner, any renters that knows of any friends, relatives, or family members that were affected, just apply. I mean, regardless of what the situation was. Right now, Sergio, we have a lot of people that come in to apply for vehicles that were flooded at the time. They repaired them, and they bring in the receipts, and they bring in all the documentation. Because I know this was in March. It was well back. People are repaired, cleaned up, but we have receipts, we have documentation. We keep those, bring those in. That's what they're going to look at. They're not going to look at your home as it was at that time, because it's been a while, but they look at the documentation that you can provide. If there's a water line you took a picture of, there's a water line that still shows. If there's damage that shows that you probably fixed it a little bit or something, or receipts that you saved those. Those are those going to determine that type of system.
Alberto Pillot with FEMA. Today's the final day to apply. FEMA office is still open, helping folks, but today's the final day to apply for any financial assistance related to the late March floods. And that was going to be one of my questions. It's not only homes, it's also vehicles, but only one vehicle per family, or what are the rules related to this?
Right. The rules for the vehicle could be, let's say we had a case of a family that came in with 4 vehicles.
Okay.
2 were not even registered. So they have to be registered and some have insurance. Or if you have vehicles that both couples use and they're mandatory for their jobs, we both need a vehicle because one goes to my work, one goes to the other. They can look at those things, Again, they look at if they're insured, what is the determination of the insurance, and whatever's under the insurance for that, then most likely they will. But they need to be at least registered, because we know in the Valley a lot of people don't have insurance, but at least registered. Also, if we look at furniture, we look at appliances, we look at a funeral if somebody passed away because of the situation. Also, we look into storage. There are a couple of things that we look into. So don't disqualify yourself. You have till midnight online, or you have till 7 today.
Okay.
Dial 1-800-621-3362.
And the assistance centers that you've set up, they close at business hours, right? Like 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. or something like that?
Right. Look,
Okay.
Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. And on Saturdays, 8 to 5, and they'll close on Sunday. So let's take advantage of them. I probably for this week, I can't say when they're going to close, but just we'll let everybody know through media communications when they'll be closing. But let's take advantage of them now, because they're all open.
Sure. 2 quick questions from listeners, and I know it's probably on listeners' minds, other folks. Is any assistance paid out for home or vehicles or whatever? Is there a cap to it? Number one. Number 2, is it taxable?
No, it's not taxable. These are disaster grants, and yes, they're capped. There's a maximum of FEMA assistance that anybody can receive. It's $43,600 for homes, and it could be a $43,600 for other needs. So that's the cap that FEMA can provide, a max grant for anybody who's eligible to make that max grant.
Okay. Alberto Pillot from FEMA. Today is the final day to apply for assistance related to the late March floods. Another question. What if you have multiple properties? Is this just for homestead, or what about if you have 2 or 3 other properties that got flooded?
No, it's only primary residence.
Primary residence.
Primary residence.
Okay. Primary
if you
residence.
have other properties, you'll be eligible. You can apply for business loans through the SBA, which are a very good program. I recommend everybody to look into it, the SBA disaster loan, because they will fill in the gap for that damage that will not meet your needs if you have more than the damage, and they'll fill that gap with a loan.
Yeah. Here's another question. How quickly is the payout? After you do the paperwork and everything, how quickly do you get paid?
Well, once you fill in the information, within the 5 days, an inspector will call you. After the inspection is done, within 7 to 10 days, you will have a determination already.
Oh my goodness! That means you got a lot of inspectors in the area then, knocking on doors.
Right now, we've had a total of over 18,000 applications for a total of $80 million for the 4 counties as of today.
You've been busy. My goodness, 18,000 applications. You said $80 million. $80
million have been approved already for the Valley, for the 4 counties.
If I seem to remember correctly, there's a certain threshold, certain millions of dollars that need to be reached in potential damage before they call you, right? Before they declare.
That is correct.
And get that
so
approved.
if anybody filled out the ISTAT when the initial registration, when the state and the counties were doing the preliminary damage assessment, if you filled out an ISTAT to help the county, that doesn't guarantee you that you filled out the FEMA information.
Yeah.
So if you think you're waiting for FEMA because you filled it out, no, you still have to call that 1-800-621-3362 and apply with FEMA separately. ISTAT has nothing to do with FEMA assistance. It was only for the state for the numbers.
Okay, I'm running out of time in this segment. Thanks for your text messages, emails, and the messages sent. Okay, we're done in this segment. Quickly, Alberto Pillot, FEMA, the locations in the area, where do you want them to go? Business hours, they close at 5. Today's the final day to apply. So where are you? Where are your people, your offices?
Right. Remember, if you're going to be in FAR, we're at the Economic Development Center on Dicker Street. With Westlaco, we're at the City Hall over there on Kansas Street. In Harlingen, we're at the Harlingen Convention Center, and in San Benito at the Recreation Center in San Benito. Operation hours, Monday through Friday, 8 to 7 p.m., Saturdays, 8 to 5 p.m., and closed on Sunday. So we have a lot of people there, so they speak Spanish and English, so they move very, very fast.
Yeah,
if you have any appeals, any letters that you receive, you don't understand anything, documentation that's needed, we will be there. And remember, we are not leaving, so today's the registration, but if you can continue your case, appeals, documentation, bring in situations, questions, and answers, we'll still be there after today.
Alberto Pillot with FEMA. As I've told you before, don't be a stranger, but come and see us when it's not emergency or disaster time, it'd be good to see you back at the studio, okay?
I sure will. Thank you, Mr.
All right,
Sergio.
brother. Thanks for checking
Have a nice day. Thank you for the opportunity.
Alberto Piot with the FEMA office. This is the Valley's Morning News on News Talk 710 KURV. Quick headlines. Over 70 million Americans in the South and the Midwest, they're in the same situation you and I are in. Triple-digit heat dome over the South and over the Midwest. Philippine president is meeting with President Trump at the White House today. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. will be trying to hammer out a new trade deal with the U.S. Elon Musk saying his artificial intelligence startup xAI is considered a kid-friendly version of its chatbot Grok. And the interim CEO of the now infamous Astronomer, the CEO of Astronomer, you know, that guy that was getting too friendly with his HR director. Yeah, he quit. So there's an interim CEO over at Astronomer. He says there is a silver lining to this fiasco, this infidelity, this mess over at the Coldplay concert. He says people now recognize the name Astronomer. There's no such thing as bad publicity. Now they know that the company exists. What do they do? I don't know. This is the Valley's Morning News on News Talk 710 KURV, Tuesday edition. Your station for Astros baseball. They won last night. Sports next on 710 KURV. Of all the business that you own or that you manage, all those buildings, if you have no idea the condition of your commercial roofing system, I invite you to call my friend Dale Johnson. He is waiting for your call, for your text message. Dale Johnson at Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing, the company that he has joined forces with, he represents, and he's taking charge of all these different properties that need a little bit of patchwork, examining what's going on. Maybe there's some new projects that are going up here pretty soon. There's a lot of that taking place. New projects, new buildings going up, and they're making a call to Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing and my friend Dale Johnson to make sure that they get the top roofing system that is going to last for years and has warranties behind it. Waterproof these properties, make sure that water doesn't shut you down needlessly. This is a problem that, especially if you're building something new, you get that facility waterproof, the Chamberlain Roofing Waterproofing out there, and get the warranties that you need. You can count on your tenants, your operations to go smoothly over many, many years. It all starts with a conversation, free conversation with my friend Dale Johnson at Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing. Go get everything checked for free. Make sure you know what's going on with all those roofing systems of yours. Call him, text him now, 956-655-6178. AccuWeather says if you like yesterday, man, you're really going to love today. It's going to be slightly hotter, up to 104 in the Western Valley. Should be low 100s everyone else, and upper 90s at the beach. Right now it's 80 degrees at Newstalk 710 KURV here in Mission, Texas, where Mission meets McAllen. Border Bridge wait times is posted on KURV.com. Let's see what Customs is reporting. 30 minutes at the Hidalgo Bridge. That's the busy one for Hidalgo County. And about 10 to 15 minutes at all three major bridges for Brownsville. Business news and a check of your money. That's next on 710 KURV. You want to make some money, get an investment property? The Ryan and Brian Real Estate Team, that's the way to go, amigo. Ryan and Brian, they know all the properties that are for sale. They know the good ones, good neighborhoods and in areas that are developing. We've got some good developments, maybe some industrial parks nearby or some new schools coming up. They know all the better homes. So if you're looking for an investment property, you should make the call. Like Joaquin did. He called the Ryan and Brian Real Estate Team to buy a fourplex here in Edinburgh, his first investment property. The Ryan and Brian Real Estate Team, they know the best houses in the area. They know the entire Rio Grande Valley market. So do like Joaquin did. Call them today. Start the conversation with Angel. Angel helped him find a great deal and got the investment property that he was looking for. Call the Ryan and Brian Real Estate Team and check online. Here's the phone number, 956-540-2536. The website, ryanandbrian.com. That's ryanandbrian.com.